How are you? You hear me okay?
Yes, I can see you too.
Awesome, my friend.
Sorry about that, Fred. We're having trouble with our Zoom link. There's something set up wrong in the setup, so I'm going to get my girlfriend to look at it today. So thanks for being patient with us.
Yeah, you should have used mine, guys. That's all right.
No, we were trying to do it on our platform, but thank you anyways. We appreciate that, and you guys enjoy your meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rudy.
There might be a couple other guys show up, but anyway.
Okay.
In the meantime, did you have a chance, Darren, to look over the stuff I sent you?
No, actually, I have not just yet.
Uh-oh.
Can you give it to me in 2 minutes?
No.
Okay.
I have to send you the link.
Okay.
Go back and
Again.
I'm gonna go back.
Okay, I'm going into my email now.
Oh,
I'm taking a quick look right now. Is this for an active case or a situation that needs instant remedy?
no, this is, hang on a second. I gotta find the divergent thing, all these emails, because it's in the body of one of them. Okay, here we go. And I also sent you a couple I'm guessing you also haven't looked at the documents, correct?
We are taking a peek right now, as a matter of fact.
Copy. Divergent 5.
The certificate of trust, is that what you mean, Fred?
Hang on, I'm sending it again.
I have your email, so I'm just asking for clarification if you're talking about the certificate of trust link that you sent.
Just give me a moment, please. Okay. I sent you in all those emails, one of them, and I've sent it the link again, but I also enclosed 2 documents. One which went to the RG, and the other was a general letter that I sent to about 24 different government quote persons, unquote.
Okay.
This one was going to the finance minister.
Okay.
I wanted to know if by your looking, which one are you looking at? Are you looking at one of the documents, or are you looking at the link that I just sent you again?
I'm looking at the certificate of trust dated the 24th of September 2019.
Certificate of trust. Oh, so you're in the link.
I think so.
Oh, okay, so you're looking at a bunch of links. Do you have an active trust? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Yes, and you obviously have a T3 number from CRA.
Nope, that's coming down the pipe. We're just finalizing the landing of the securities interests at land titles, and then that process through CRA is coming up.
Okay, so I guess, okay, what were my questions now? See, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them, and of course, if I'm not looking at them, I can't remember. Let's see. So, okay, here's the questions. Must I send original birth certificates to everybody or just to the RG?
No, originals go to the RG or, property registry specifically. And then from there, once you get the output from land titles or the personal property security registry, that single output will now act as your, let's call it your default document that indicates you have surrendered the originals to the RG, and they're all on file, and they're actually all now in a vault. As a matter
that was weird. Oh, James must have just showed up.
Okay.
Hey, James. Anyway, so let me ask that again. So you said originals, plural. What do you?
Yeah, I send original everything. Like the original birth certificate, the original affidavit, the original security agreement, and I kept copies.
Oh, okay. English being such an imprecise language. I'm going to ask this again differently. Originals, are you talking about multiple originals of birth certificates or only one original birth? Actually, none of us have originals. They do, but
Yeah.
so are you talking about sending one birth certificate to the RG? And if I'm going to send something to the finance minister or to the solicitor general or the attorney general, these all have to be copies of that original?
Yeah, the original went to the property registry or the registrar general. And then, of course, I kept several copies of all these things as working documents that I could forward as further notices to other third parties, such as the attorney general and the minister of finance and all that, what have you. But here's the kind of the cool thing that happens in the background. Once you register this stuff, or I don't like to use the register.
Oh, okay, I don't want to interrupt you, but you still haven't actually answered my question. So you say just one goes to you said RG or what was the other entity you said?
Yeah, the personal property security registry, which is essentially land titles. That's essentially what it is. Yeah, they got.
Okay, now you brought forward another thing. I've done a PPSA.
Okay.
But I did it in Alberta and I wasn't born here.
Okay, what you're going to need to do, Fred, is send me a copy of that just so that I can put some eyeballs on it to make sure that.
I did, and
okay.
It's on that link.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
All of my documents are on, not all, but probably 70% of my documents are on that link.
Okay, perfect. Because there's actually specific requirements for the PPSA or the PPSR filing requirements. I haven't taken a look at those docs from you yet, but I will do that right away here. And if there's a deficiency, don't worry about it because it's super easy to fix.
Okay. Now that, yeah, okay. So now that you know that it's kind of important to look at what I sent you, I will yield for the time being. And James, do you have something you want to say? Ask
Hi, Darren. Thanks for agreeing to meet us or talk on Zoom.
Hey, no problem.
Fred and I and another gentleman in Ontario, David, have been kind of working on this process together for
a long
probably well, several months, including, I mean, trust indentures and all sorts of stuff. But the part that I think we're deficient in is like we each have a PPSA and we have a trust set up, and we've surrendered our original birth documents. I personally sent mine to the Minister of Finance. Fred and David both went to the registrars of their born provinces.
Sure.
But I think we're a little deficient on the land title stuff, and I think we have some questions about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you just mentioned that PPSA and land titles are kind of linked. Is that correct? Because like I haven't done a caveat or anything like that, but I've done a PPSA kind of securing
Sure.
the estate with the trust.
Yeah, those departments are absolutely linked. The Registrar General oversees the entire land titles district survey process, which oddly enough, vital statistics is also kind of lurking in there in the background. They're very connected. They're very affiliated. They have the same systems that operate. They're very one and the same, believe it or not.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think we thought, because we've done enough research to kind of know a little bit about that, but we weren't really sure about the land title stuff and how it incorporated. But if they're very linked, do you have to like, if you have a PPSA securing your estate with a trust is how we've incorporated it. Yeah. Would we still file a caveat with the land titles?
The caveat comes in when you guys produce a mortgage. The caveat actually protects the mortgage is what that does. And is it important? I would say yes, it is.
Okay.
I have working versions of this. As a matter of fact, I think over the course of this weekend, are you talking about when you said John, were you talking about John Michael Dunn there in Ontario?
No, his name is David Williams.
Oh,
and he's
okay,
in-
sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, he was wondering. He couldn't make the call, but he was wondering if you mentioned someone in Ontario has done the process. He was wondering if maybe you could connect the two of them up.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And as a matter of fact, what the tech crew are doing here for us right now is they're actually going and they're taking all the documents that I created. They're actually reworking them all entirely, and they're adding drop-in fields and drop-down menus, and they're making these things all fillable forms. So as we bang off each province and I post them on Divergence there, every province will have a series of forms that are just simply fillable.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Okay.
going to help. Yeah, that'll help streamline the process a little bit and add a little bit of clarity and take a little bit of the headache and the overwhelming feeling out of doing all this for everybody.
Well, I don't know about Fred, but it's been, thousands of hours of reading, research, and, trying to discern through stuff. And
yeah, this is literally PhD level stuff, right? Like it's not for the average kind of connoisseur.
well, I'd say this is way above law society, those kind of fools that think they're so smart, but this is 10 times higher than they are for sure.
Absolutely.
James, can I put my 2 cents in here?
Sure.
Okay, you like Darren or you like Jedi? I kind of like the way you wrote it.
Yeah, I don't mind either or. It's all good.
Okay, Jedi, tell me, did I fill this out? This is a copy of my birth certificate.
Okay.
Did I fill it out wrong? This is the only writing I did on it. Let's get closer.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Just verbalize what that says. It's coming in to me a little bit blurry, but just go ahead and read it.
Strange. Anyway, okay. I wrote in my handwriting, actually in a font that I created from my handwriting, accepted for value, returned for value, exempt from levy, deposit to the office of the Registrar General, charge the same to, all caps, last name, first name, middle name, and then the birth certificate registration number.
Okay.
And then the date of my birth date when I turned 18.
Okay.
And then I signed it. And then underneath that signature, it says authorized representative. Is that incorrect?
No, there's enough substance there that holds weight. It has merit. The only thing I would add is adverse claim. That's really, really important.
Okay. James, can you comment on that? Him saying that adverse claim is.
Well, we talked about this, and I just said I didn't believe it was necessary to write that on there because of the 2-page of basically we outlined that we are claiming this as a financial asset, that we never abandoned it. We're going back to our 18th birthday, which all I said, Fred, is we didn't just write adverse claim across the birth certificate, but the 2-page document we wrote
Covers it.
David explained that we are claiming this. It's basically the same thing. It's just we never wrote adverse claim, Fred. That's all I said.
Okay. Well, that gets the job done. I love the word adverse claim, and here's why. The word adverse actually means this: a party expressing a property interest in a financial asset. That's exactly that's exactly what it means. So again, I think I mentioned in the Zoom meeting the other night there. Again, it just kind of adds instant clarity to the viewer or the audience looking at your guys' documents. As soon as they see that word on there, they know exactly what's going on. And here's the other cool thing. We have one of two options. We can specially endorse the birth certificate like you gentlemen have just done, or you can create a security agreement. Both are effectual. I chose to do both. I wrote the notice of adverse claim right on the certificate, and I produced a security agreement. That way there's no loopholes, there's no deficiencies, there's no weak ends. It all just works. Is that overboard? Yeah, or you can get away with doing one of the two, but like I said, I chose to do both of them.
Well, that's why
we just didn't write adverse claim on the birth certificate, but we did do both. We have done both as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, that's why I sent you my link, because there is a security agreement on there. Both James, David, and I, and quite a few other of our small group did the same thing. We have a security agreement. What puzzles me is when I called Jack. By the way, is your lady friend, was she born in BC?
I believe she was, yep, near Vancouver, I think.
Because you quote a lot of Manitoba laws on your documentation, and I haven't been at it for more than a few days so far, but I've been finding it difficult to find a lot of the laws that you quote for BC.
Yeah.
I was born in BC.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, Manitoba was my birth province, so that was the province that started this whole thing. So we kind of used that province as a template, and then we went searching and cross-referencing all the other provinces. We have Ontario is very up to date. We have an entire working package for British Columbia now.
Yay!
So, yeah, as a matter of fact, Jody and Tamara have both rammed their British Columbia paperwork through, and they both have the BC Online Security Agreement output. And that's that one single deadly piece of paper that's ultimately, guys, at the end of the day, that's the thing that changes our status and our standing right there.
Okay, I need to ask
Can you repeat that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
the personal property security agreement, which is another word for the land titles output from British Columbia. Tamara has hers completed, and so does Jody. So we can forward a copy of either of those two to you guys as a working template, and you guys will see exactly what's going on here.
I have one more question.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear that I just said I have another question?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said we have that figured. Okay, go ahead.
Well, James may have said that.
No, I said thank you.
Oh,
No, I didn't. No.
James agreed. Okay. I have several copies that I ordered from Vital Stats of birth certificates. Do I need to do this again? Do I
no,
need to send the RG another birth certificate?
no. As a matter of fact, that's all good. What I would recommend doing though is once you get the output from property, like the personal property security registry, we're actually kind of compelled in the background to forward any other certificates that we have floating around out there. We're actually supposed to forward them so that they can be dealt with. Because now that your securities, your interests, and your standing and your statuses have actually upgraded in the background, if there's another looming certificate out there, it could be used, it could be negotiated, and it could actually monkey wrench the system a little bit. So they actually ask that we forward all those back so that they can be either canceled and or corrected.
So that's like surrendering all these extra documents, like your
Yeah.
driver's license, your SIN
Yeah.
number, all that good stuff. Yeah.
You betcha. Again, because once here, I'll just hold it up again. This is, I know you guys might not be able to read it. Hang on.
We can see it.
Okay, so yeah, so I will post more pictures of this on Divergence and stuff again later. But we actually went through this last night, and we had Jody log into the personal property registry. She did a check on Tamara, just like the RCMP or the OPP or the provincial police would do, right? When they go back to their car, they say, oh, I'll be back in 5 minutes. That's actually what they're doing in their car, is they're actually checking the land titles records to see if you have anything filed that's going to stop them from proceeding to attach liability to you through that driver's license. So last night, we actually did a little search on our own. And yeah, boom, that entire security agreement pops up just like a cop would see it, which actually stops them from attaching any liability through any charge to that birth certificate.
Okay, my next question, and probably last question, as I've mentioned before, I've done a PPSA, but I did it here.
Yeah.
I need to do one in BC instead.
Okay. Well then, yeah, hang on until you see the working documents here coming from us. And then that way you can fix any little deficiencies again, because I haven't put eyeballs on what you sent me, gentlemen, yet. Just it is coming. But just in case there is a little deficiency here and there, because filing all that stuff is a little bit tricky. If we don't put in, like for example, for the secured party, I'm not sure what you guys put into that field, but it needs to be the successor in interest.
Oh, okay. I need to ask this question again, because again, you didn't answer.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I did it in Alberta. I was born in BC. Do I need to do one in BC? Yes or no?
I would say no, but you know what? Depending if there's no problems with the Alberta filing, then it'll be applicable. It'll go through, it'll be all resolved. That's no problem. Typically, like I was saying on the Zoom meeting there the other night, typically the birth province is typically the one we're going to want to go to typically. So I haven't done an experiment yet with, well, actually I have. I've got one gentleman in British Columbia who's actually trying to land his Quebec birth certificate in British Columbia, which is going to be kind of similar to what you ran your stuff through Alberta being the birth province, and that typically should do.
No. BC is the birth province. I live in Alberta.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, and then you tried landing it in Alberta.
Well, I did a PPSA in Alberta.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. And again, like I was mentioning the other night, I believe that because this system is, it's the same system throughout the Commonwealth, is what it is. Even though you're either in British Columbia or Alberta, if you happen to be sending these security agreements and all these packages to other birth provinces or the province you're in, I believe it's going to be effectual either way.
Well, then we come up with the problem that Jack Schutchuk, if you probably didn't read my email yet, but he on the phone told me, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no money attached to this. There's no value. Basically he lied, and I'm wondering, okay, he's lying to me because he thinks he can I'm still a slave and I'm still, dead on arrival.
Sure.
Why is he lying to me? Because I didn't believe anything he said.
Yeah, there's a weird amount of ego still floating around all the top guys or guys at this level kind of doing all this kind of stuff. And I'll be honest, I know a few of these top guys who are still exercising this ego. I don't like it when guys tell stories, they lie, or they don't share the information. This information is not owned by Jack. It was here before Jack. Our job was to actually just, take all this information, make heads or tails of it to the best of our knowledge and ability, and then share it with others. That is fundamentally what we're supposed to be doing here. This all comes down to the gospel, really, is what this is. When you're trying to get right with the Creator by not serving sin any longer, that's not just for you. That's not just for me. That's not just for, Jack. We're supposed to be, in my opinion, sharing this stuff. And for those that don't share it, they'll have all kinds of little reasons and little, motivators, whether it's greed or whether it's ego or whatnot. But I don't try to wrap my head around that too much. I just let people do what they do, and I just go ahead and do what I'm going to do. But I will tell you this: the value that gets attached to these certificates, is it real? Absolutely. They actually ask us to evaluate our own estates. And then they go back and compare that to their tables, their charts, and then they actually will spit out a number as well. And between the two numbers, they will actually come up with a proper evaluation somehow. And this is how it works. It's not like you have, $100 billion in a securities account. What we have is the ability to extinguish $100 billion worth of debt. And all it takes to do that is one silver coin.
Well, so I'm guessing you had, sorry, James, I'm guessing you had dealings with Jack Schutchuk when you dealt with Tamara's paperwork, because he is the RG of.
Yeah, there's, and again, once that is all filed at land titles, they will be, that's what changes the record. That sets and establishes an amount. Did you actually put an amount on yours there, Fred, or you left it blank?
No, I didn't even know about doing that. Are you talking about the birth certificate?
Yeah, when you're supposed to attach a valuation, or when you're supposed to evaluate that estate, did you in fact do that or not? No.
All that's on this birth certificate is what I read to you. That's
Okay.
all I wrote.
Okay, sure. So when it comes down to time to do the financing statement, which is part of the online process.
By financing statement, are you talking about a UCC1 or are you talking about the PPSA?
Talk about the PPSA. UCC1 kind of gets it done, but you know what? That's we have the remedy. Like if you were in a country that didn't have something set up at land titles, you could use UCC filings as a default protocol to perfect your interests. That's global. That's, it's an international process. Does it work? Absolutely. but each province or each territory, especially within the Commonwealth, has specific legislation to deal with perfecting these interests and recording them appropriately, to the point where we actually don't need UCC1. I didn't use UCC at all in any of my filings.
Wow.
Yeah, because
So
every
we did evaluate it, Fred, in the
Okay.
security agreement. We evaluated it, the estate at $100 billion. If you read the
Perfect.
security agreement.
Yeah,
Well,
perfect.
I'll have to look at it again. I haven't looked at that in a while.
Awesome. Because I was going to suggest, yeah, it should be in the securities agreement. If that's where I also evaluated it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you basically, you're leaning the estate for that much, so no one can touch you, right? You're protecting your body. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. And essentially, this is where the money comes from. We actually create a mortgage for $100 billion, and we do it. We set it up as, hey, I'm going to be the debtor of this mortgage. So you're literally signing the line saying that I'm going to be responsible for $100 billion debt. And then we take that mortgage and we flip it. And by flip it, I mean, we declare that mortgage to be a deed absolute declared a mortgage in equity. So that's not a normal mortgage. So we take a normal mortgage and then we flip it. And now therefore, the positions of the parties switch. That's where the subrogation comes in. So just because I created the mortgage as the mortgagor, I actually wind up being the mortgagee once the mortgage flips.
Okay, so when you say mortgage, you just mean a promissory note or a bond, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, that's all you mean.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, it's just, it's a loose document that sets up some terms and conditions for the parties involved. It outlines some duties, some obligations. It sets out the interest, and again, so for example, on the $100 billion, we get the interest as a payment on that $100 billion. We actually don't get to touch the principal. We only get to touch and play with the interest on it.
Because that's the tax-free stuff, right?
There you go.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. One other question I have. So basically, it sounds like to me you're using land titles and PPSA registry as synonymous terms. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're essentially one and the same.
Okay, because well, I was thinking initially they're two different entities, but you're saying that in the background they're basically one and the same. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like in Manitoba, for example, when you go down to the land titles office, they have one big desk, and land titles is on one side of the desk, and personal property security registry is on the other side of the desk. So it's one desk though.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And so I think I heard you on the call on Monday, you were discussing claiming like a vehicle or property that you would just go put that as an amendment, the VIN number on your PPSA, and it would be discharged. They would discharge it for you through you and send you the manufacturer's certificate of origin or a certificate to, is that correct?
I'm thinking that manufacturer's certificate of origin is still actually going to stay within the possession of the state or the trustees. My angle here is let them deal with as much paperwork as possible. Give me the car keys, and I don't even want to touch paperwork anymore. So
well, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So okay. So the financing statement in the background, what that does is it opens the door for this. It's essentially just a form that says, hey, add property identifiers, whether they are serial numbers, mortgage numbers, barcodes, whatever the number is that is attached to that piece of property, you take that number and you literally put it into your financing statement. And again, just the phraseology of the word financing statement kind of implies right there, hey, when property shows up under this particular financing statement, when the proper credentials and the proper collateral is used and is settled in the background, the province now finances the property for you.
And then they're holding it all in trust anyways.
Yes.
So that's why you're saying, we don't want don't just give me the keys, I'll use it.
Done.
You can keep the paper and shove it.
That's exactly right, because they want to, they want to be monetizing these instruments. They like to be flooding the bond markets with all this stuff. This is how they turn the money system going in the background. So, and again, like I was just saying, I don't want to be involved with any of that paperwork. I'm not licensed to deal with securities. I'm not registered as a clearinghouse. I'm not this, I'm not that. Let the trustees do all that stuff.
Yeah, might as well. That's their job anyways. Yeah.
I mean, because I don't want to make mistakes. I mean, despite my level of knowledge with this stuff, and despite Dean's level of knowledge, and your guys, you know, for example, we're still subject to mistakes. We're still subject to not knowing everything. And again, we've been acting as trustees for years. As a matter of fact, I just was looking at Fred's certificate of trust there, and I was about halfway down the page where it says, "I, Fred, last name, something as trustee." That's something that we're going to want to fix. Instead of trustee right there, guys, put settler right there, because we were at birth, we were deemed to be the trustee. So that's implied. That's a given. And we technically, once we settle the estate, we never want to be trustees again. So you could actually say, you know, Fred Potvin coming forward here as the trustee, coming now as the settlor, creates a trust.
Okay, but I think he's just referencing there. Sorry, my recording device. It's because we willed the estate into a trust, and we're the executor of the estate, but trustee of the new trust that we created that willed the property into it.
Yeah, you know what? I totally hear what you guys are saying with that.
You still think state use grantor or settlor instead of trustee?
Yeah, you know what? Once we grant that legal interest to the trustees, I want to stay away from administrator, I want to stay away from executor, and I want to stay away from trustee.
Okay.
That's their bag now. But I do completely understand and hear what you guys are saying. Once we created the trust, we're technically trustees of that trust. Yeah, but you know what? Let's just kind of keep that in our mind, but let's just not vocalize that.
Oh, okay. But you're saying they might try and use it against you.
Yes. Yeah. They might say, "Oh, well, then if you guys want to be the trustees, then we'll be the beneficiaries."
Yeah. Okay.
And I just don't want to experiment with that and find out the wrong way that shit, you know.
Yeah. Oh, and so you're saying that, so when a cop pulls, if he pulled me over and I gave him well, I probably wouldn't give him anything, but maybe a PPSA lien statement or something showing that I have the lien interest in it, he would be able to see everything on my PPSA and know that if he tries to issue a ticket, he'd be trustee decent tort and breach of public trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
And then that's 14 years in jail for them.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Breach of trust is actually scary with consequences.
Okay, good, because I don't think they can get away with it. Okay, yeah, I'm doing lots of stuff on the background about reclaiming old securities too. I'm kind of maybe spiteful about that way, but I've been going after like my old mortgage and insurances and stuff. And I'm
my
going to the
house,
courthouse next.
they stole so much from us, James. So much.
I know.
Talk about skin in the game.
I know.
Although I guess you too, Darren, probably.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And here's the cool thing, guys. Some of our colleagues in the United States that are also doing this, they got a letter back from the land authority that said something to this effect. "Oh, Steven, I see here you had a mortgage foreclosure 7 years ago. Would you like to have possession of that house once again?"
Oh, crazy.
They actually asked him if he wanted the house back.
Wow.
Yeah. So even though there was a new owner, even though there was someone new living in it, they would have essentially got, expropriated. And this gentleman would have had full control of that property again.
Well, that's what they should do. That'd be the admirable thing to do. They're honorable, right?
Yes.
They keep calling themselves honorable, but but really they are. We just don't know the game, right?
Yeah, we were always in the wrong position. We had the wrong collateral. We had no standing. We had no bond, securing, or we had no securitized collateral. Like we were deficient in so many areas. It's kind of funny.
It is. It's scary, right? It is a return to competence when you've awoken, and it's like, hey, the system actually is perfect. We just didn't know that it was set up for us to be the beneficiary.
That's right. Yeah. And and Dean and I came close, back in the day. But again, we didn't perfect our security interests. We didn't file stuff at land titles. We didn't do a lot of stuff. So am I resentful for our lack of progress back in the day? Well, no, I can't blame anybody for us being deficient in our process.
It's a huge learning curve, especially when you're indoctrinated to know nothing, not know how to read hardly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough go. I mean, again, that's why I'm so thankful for anybody that was, you know, willing to go down these rabbit holes that Dean and I were doing just to get our asses kicked. But there's an incredible learning curve involved there that is virtually, you know, you can't quantify its value. You can't, you know, you can't just dismiss it. You can't overlook it. You can't regard it as being not important, because it really, really is.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% for sure.
Yeah. So again, I apologize for not taking a look at Fred's documents there. However, I will do that over the course of this weekend. I will highlight, I will redline, I will make suggestions. And again, because if I do find a deficiency, or if I do find something that's a little bit off track, fixing that, adding or amending or changing the record is actually super easy. So don't worry if I do find a problem.
You know what? If you don't mind, Darren.
Yep.
And I sure would like to contribute to this process, although money is short right now. But I mean, if I sent you, okay, what you've got there on the website is a bunch of JPEGs or pings or what, like images. I could send you the unsigned Word. Do you have a Mac or a PC?
I have PC.
If you'd be willing, I'm more than happy to send you the Word versions of my stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Now, are you opposed to us kind of using that as learning material for it to be?
Absolutely not. I am. Go for it, dude.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. I will redact anything that you require. Although, like, I'm trying to set a precedence for people. I don't give a shit about redacting anything anymore. I want to show everybody my entire process. And again, that's me. I don't expect anybody to have that type of free kind of, you know, throwing it out there, because that is a little bit bizarre. But I'm in a situation where I just literally don't give a shit.
Well, and really, when you're secured, they can't do anything or touch you now anyways, right?
That's right. If someone picks up my birth certificate, if I could literally order a birth certificate, hand it to someone on the street and say, here, see what you can do with this. You want to know what they can do with it? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know that already, and I know what's going on in the background. So that's why I'm not opposed to, you know, just not hiding anything. You know, there's nothing I hate more than, I don't want to use the word hate. There's nothing I dislike more than these guys calling themselves gurus and teachers and stuff. And they'll post a document for everybody to look at, and 2/3 of it's redacted.
Yeah. How do you get the picture when you see a third? Yeah.
Yeah, like, see, like, come on now.
Yeah.
And again, whether
Picasso, but all I see is the toe.
yeah, exactly, right. And to me, I guess that's just so out of place with the direction of my heart and what I'm trying to do. I just kind of shake my head when I see guys doing that. You know, they're either in it for the wrong reasons, money, greed, ego, whatever. But I don't relate to any of those types of things. So for me, I just find it strange. And you guys will never see me redact anything that I'm doing.
James, what do you think? Should I just give him my unedited documents? I'm willing.
I don't care. Go ahead.
Done. Okay, Darren, you're gonna get a deluge.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, and then when I go through it, I will highlight areas, and then I will kind of put little what I would suggest put into this place or this category, or let's remove this paragraph and just simply put this one sentence. You know, I'll go through it, I'll fine tune it, and I'll send it back to you guys so that you guys can see how these things evolve. Because another thing I also want to start doing is getting away from the 20, 30, 40 page packages.
Yeah, well, if you can say something in a sentence, why say it in a page? The way,
Exactly.
Besides, they can interpret it wrong.
Yeah, see, exactly.
You know what I mean? They're gonna, oh, well, I read this and I thought it meant this.
Yeah,
No.
and you know, Dean and I, we kind of started that problem back in the day when we used to think, you know, oh, look how smart I am with my 50-page documents. But what you just said, James, is totally accurate. It opens up the door for misinterpretation. If you can't say it in a paragraph, if you need 10 pages to say it, you're not saying it effectively.
Exactly. they'll twist your words. That's
Totally.
the problem.
God.
Yeah.
Where the hell have you, we knew about your brother. That is your brother, right, Dean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, there's only one phrase that is echoing really loud in my head right now. Where the hell have you been my whole life?
I know, eh? Well, I mean, to be honest, guys, when our substances kind of stopped working about 5 years ago, we kind of had to go dark and really figure out where we were going wrong, where our deficiencies were, because Dean did have a very large following, and we didn't quite feel morally on cue with sending people to jail. You know, that just didn't fit well. So we actually kind of went a little bit dark. Although don't get me wrong, we did continue to make incredible progress, but it's only been in the last year that we've really truly figured out how to perfect a security interest. So all of Dean's substance, it works in theory, but until you have a perfected interest, it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, I'm not knocking any of mine and Dean's progress and all of our work that we had put in for 10 or 15 years. No, it was all true in theory, like I'm suggesting. But yeah, without that perfected interest, it doesn't go very far.
Holy crap. Okay.
That just goes back to more research, right?
Yeah, and, you know, and again,
Down
you
the
know,
right path
yeah,
eventually.
you got the judge sitting up on the bench, or you got the cop walking back to his car, or you got the registrar at land titles. All these characters, the first thing they do is they go onto their computers and they do a search at the personal property security registry or land titles. They'll punch in your all caps name or your birth date or whatever, you know. And when that registration pops back saying there is nothing filed here, the cop smiles, you know, he rubs his hands together because now he knows he can attach liability to your estate that you have volunteered to pay. As soon as the cop punches in his computer and something pops up that says, uh-oh, something has been registered, that now eliminates the officer's ability to attach any debt to you for payment. That's why it's so deadly.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna send you all my stuff. May I respectfully request that you send me all the information for BC and that your lady friend has done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have one more question.
Yep.
I hope when you look at my stuff, James, you might want to send in your stuff too. I think we're so close, it's not funny. I mean,
Yeah.
but it seems like we've been dancing around the target for about a year or so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does get very frustrating. Did you guys get something like as in a PPSA output, like as in a single page that identified everything that we're discussing here today? Did you guys get that output or no?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by output, but I mean, I went to registries, physically went to registries, and I asked them to put in all the things that are in it, and they did.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and like I'm looking at, it's just a single piece of paper. This is the same single piece of paper that I was showing on the Zoom meeting the other night. And again, this is from BC Online, and it says right here, personal property security agreement. And then we have control numbers, we have base numbers, we have secured party, we have base debtor, and then we have the general collateral here. So,
well, in Alberta, it's formatted somewhat differently.
oh, okay.
Mine was 2 pages, and then of course I realized I made one mistake, and now I have a page. That's an amendment, which is actually not on that link site that I gave you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just what changes did I make? I can't actually remember. And rather than my domicile or, you know, an address where that can be attached to the person,
yeah,
I use the address, a flex mail address, and from the office of the executor of the estate.
okay.
Is that correct or not correct?
No, yeah, that's okay. And there's one more element that you could add there. You could actually identify that address as the principal trust residence.
Hmm.
That's,
Interesting.
that's right from CRA. That's deadly. That means
Okay, hang on. I gotta write this down. Principal trust.
residents. That means the trust lives there and you're just the beneficiary of the trust.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying for your creditor, you put successor and interest. Is that what you put?
Yeah, the successor in interest is the secured party, and that's actually just a fancy word for the Minister of Finance.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So what I've done is I put my trust as the secured party, and then the trust actually made an assignment to the Minister of Finance.
Yep, yep, yep.
So I did it in 2 steps where you did it more efficiently in 1. Okay.
Yeah, but at the end of
Oh.
the day, at the end of the day, you're doing it correctly. Sure.
Same thing. Okay, perfect.
Oh my God! And you're recording this. Please send us a copy of this recording.
Yeah, of course, guys. Yeah, I record everything. I mean, it's kind of my thing. As soon as I meet people or I start talking about this stuff, typically the first thing I say is, "Okay, are you recording?"
This is
Always a
wonderful.
good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good idea.
Wow. Well, I guess I better start emailing stuff to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll give me the weekend to go over this stuff. I have a lot of stuff on my plate this weekend, but I will put all hands on deck, and especially for gentlemen like yourselves who have done some stuff and are kind of, like on the tipping point and really need a little bit of
Just a push.
just a push, just a little, or call it a hug, But yeah, I don't want to see people, at the finish line and get hung up on something, little technical problems or little arbitrary differences or little something that's fatal. I really dislike that. I really want to help people here, so that's what we're doing.
Darren, you ever, and once we get all this done.
Yep.
And you ever decide to have a big house party, you've got yourself an evening of entertainment, singing, laughing, jokes for free.
Awesome.
And I'm quite good at this.
Awesome. Yeah, Jody was saying that the other day, and I'm like, "Oh, that's excellent." But yeah, it's so cool that we have so many gifted people, passionate people that are just so skilled with so many diverse attributes. And the fact that we're all working together now, I mean, again, I know we've been doing this for 10 or 15 or 20 years, but just lately in the last little while, there's been just an incredible surge of enthusiasm, of high-end energy, and of determination in people, again, through gentlemen like yourselves here. And it's really helping to catapult all this stuff for everybody. It's incredible for me to sit back and watch all this stuff happen.
I'm
Raising of consciousness.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem, gentlemen.
I was just gonna say, James, you think we've sucked his brain enough for today?
Yeah, I
hey,
think so.
Yeah, and you know what? And guys, I mean, if you have a collective initiative where your guys are like, "Hey, Darren, we need another 15 minutes of your time," feel free to send Jody a blurb or send myself a blurb, and we can do these all the time.
And hi everybody, I'm Jody. I was just going to say as well, if you guys haven't been to our website, please go there and register as a member. What's wonderful about the website that we've set up is you guys can actually set up groups and private chats within your own profile. So it'll be a nice
You've got me as a member. Just look at the hands and then the keyboard. You probably noticed the picture.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's wonderful. That's the best way to stay in touch with us, and of course to following our Facebook. And that's where we'll be posting this video.
That's divergent5.com. Is that right? Or?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Fred, if you're willing to make us a jingle, we would absolutely love that. I'm telling you, it's put a smile on my face since you offered it, and I would love to share that with
Do you have a favorite tune? Like, okay, wait, I'm not even going to do that. Do you remember Wizard of Oz?
Yep.
Which I think was the earlier version of the Matrix.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Now you got it started.
What is that James guy saying?
He said, now you got it started.
Well, that's what I get for looking at the camera. There we go again.
Okay, Fred,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're more welcome.
That's beautiful, my friend. That's awesome. Wow.
Actually, I was saying thank you to Darren.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I knew you were
Fred, that
saying.
was beautiful. Don't listen to his voice.
Wow.
What a
Just
bunch of guys.
teasing you, Fred.
Yeah, I know you. I know you, goof. Here, you guys can check out while I do this. You can leave.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Thanks a lot, Darren.
Okay,
Thank you,
guys.
Darren. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll talk to you gentlemen
Take
soon.
care.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
now.
Okay,
Bye,
bye-bye.
guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
You too.
Let's get out of here.